All right, welcome to Houston Live and Local. It is Caroline Collins with you today. We have some big stories that we are talking about. A group of Afghan students attacked in an HISD school. We're also going to tell you about Humble ISD's new superintendent under fire, now apologizing. Also, autism. Is it a self-diagnosis? Is that even okay to do? What you need to know about it. But let's start first with a look right now at the big board. U.S. stocks are flying higher after President Donald Trump announced a drop in some tariffs, except for China, of course. The S&P 500 up nearly 6% after erasing an earlier loss. The Dow Jones Industrial Average soaring 2,000 points on 5%, and the NASDAQ composite was up nearly 7%. Investors have been desperate for Trump to ease up on his tariffs, which economists say could cause a global recession and increase inflation. But Trump also said that he is raising tariffs on China, the world's second largest economy. All right, well, this is Houston Live and Local, so let's take it to some local news here now. The Houston chapter of the Council on American-Islamic Relations, or the CARE organization, they're calling on HISD to take action following the alleged violent target of 3 Afghan girls. And now this all happening at Paul Revere Middle School on March 3rd. Now, the girls' families say that they were sitting at their lunch table when they were surrounded by and physically assaulted by at least 20 students. Now, later on Fox 26 News, we are going to be speaking with the families in a news conference that happened this morning. We will bring that to you on fox26houston.com and, of course, in our newscast and right here on Fox Local. But HISD, though, they are now responding to this issue, saying that they take the safety of all students very seriously, and the images of this incident do not meet the standards that we expect of our students, while some of those details shared in CARE's press release do not match the facts of their investigation. The district shares that CARE's belief in that incident warranted both consequences for the aggressors and care for the victims. The 7 aggressors in the incident received disciplinary consequences aligned with the district's code of conduct. So now to another story that we have been following. The Humble ISD school board, they're investigating its newly appointed superintendent, Roger Brown. Okay, so in a leadership meeting in late March, he actually made comments saying that he wanted to lynch the mayor after being without power during Hurricane Beryl, which of course Beryl knocked out power to thousands and thousands of people in our viewing area. Humble ISD's Chief Education Support Services Officer, Henry Phibbs, said that he was offended by the superintendent's use of a racially charged word and then tried to resolve the matters but was unsuccessful. So he called for a probe at last night's board meeting. Then the superintendent gave his side of the story.
And hang him from a tree. This happened 2 weeks ago. I, along with others, have tried to remedy this matter at the lowest level. We have been unsuccessful. I am requesting that the Board of Trustees for Humble ISD conduct an independent investigation into this incident and utilize an investigator who is not affiliated with Humble ISD in any way. I encourage the board to look into emails and I-help messages sent regarding lynching in Humble ISD.
Rusty, would you mind pulling up the picture? Thank you, Rusty. Okay, so I would like to address comments that were made here tonight. This school year, when I've been meeting with the staff, I've been talking about us just focusing on the good. Let's focus on the good. A couple of weeks ago, we had a leadership meeting that started with a student reading a poem he had written to the leadership team. We talked about our budget outlook. We talked about our healthcare plan. And then there were pictures recognizing staff who had received recognitions like Ms. Bland and Ms. Wagner. I ended the meeting with this slide, and I shared how I had been reading a book about the settling of the Old West, and that this picture here just really caught my eye. The struggles of just daily living for this couple had to have been really challenging. I then said, do you remember when Hurricane Beryl hit last summer and how we wanted to lynch Center Point and the mayor? This was in reference to being without power and air for days. But then I turned to this picture and I said, but they never had it. I then made a comment about how blessed we are. I never meant for this exaggerated comment to be taken literally. No one, including myself, was actually wanting to harm Centerpoint or Mayor Whitmire or Mayor Funderburg. And I have no doubt that the individuals at Centerpoint and both mayors were working diligently to return power to all of us. My point was simply that as human beings, we can get upset about things, but in the big picture, we're really fortunate today. But after the meeting, Mr. Phipps approached me and said that some of the staff had reached out concerned about my comments. And I was surprised. And later I called Mr. Phipps. I was on my way to the Teacher of the Year celebration, and I said, hey, I'm just really sick about this. This is really bothering me. And I want to meet with any of those individuals that reached out to you. And that afternoon, I met with Mr. Phipps and 6 other staff members, and I apologized to them. While I had no ill intent, I have been reflecting on my conversations with Mr. Phipps and the others. And I want everyone to know that I am very sorry for using such an insensitive word. It was never my intent.
All right, well, there you have it. That was the superintendent's explanation of what he had said, those comments regarding losing power and Barrow wanting to lynch the mayor at Humboldt ISD School Board last night. Now let's go to the National Distracted Driving Awareness Month. This is an important one, so it is time to keep your eyes on the road and off your phone. I know a lot of us try to multitask. It is not safe. So just how important is paying attention while you're driving and not being distracted? Well, we have Melissa Wilson who spoke with a AAA expert on that.
Okay, well, you may not think about it in the moment, but picking up your phone while on the road can have deadly consequences. Here to explain during National Distracted Driving Awareness Month is Doug Shoup from AAA Texas. Doug, thank you very much for being here.
Yeah, good morning, Melissa. Thanks for having me in here and talking about this, because it is such an important issue, and we don't have to drive far here in Houston or in Southeast Texas to see people out there on their phones. It's happening all the time.
Yeah, and I think that you just feel so comfortable behind the wheel, and we're so comfortable with those phones that you just don't realize. If you think about the fact that somebody could die by picking it up, I feel like just that mindset might change what people are doing, right? How many accidents do we have because of distracted driving?
Well, according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, distracted driving contributes to about 29% of all crashes. And in 2023, 3,275 people lost their lives across the country as a result of distracted driving. That same year in 2023, 403 of those deaths were right here in Texas. But you know, the reality is the numbers are likely much higher because it's often very difficult for police to determine that distraction was a factor in the crash. And of course, drivers don't admit to it.
Now, are we talking about actually texting, so looking down, or is that just talking on the phone as well that would be considered distracted driving?
Both of them are distracted driving. Anything that takes your eyes off of the road, your hands off the steering wheel, or even your mind off of the task of driving is distracted driving. Now, those smartphones are really the true triple threat because it's a visual, physical, and cognitive distraction. But there are so many other distractions out there. You know, people that are, I've seen people on different freeways around Houston putting on their makeup or adjusting their tie. Talking with other passengers in the vehicle can be distracting. But you know, those smartphones are what really is so dangerous out there.
What is your suggestion if you're in the car with somebody who's really distracted and you're concerned, you don't feel safe?
Speak up, you know.
Just say something.
Absolutely. Over, you know, the last several decades, we've become more confident to talk about the dangers of alcohol impaired driving. and speaking up if the driver of our vehicle, has had alcohol. We should be doing the same thing about distracted driving. Speaking up and letting the driver know you don't feel comfortable, and for their safety, for your safety, and for the safety of all other road users, put down that phone. There's nothing in that phone that is worth somebody's life.
Oh, no. And if you have to think of it that way every single time you pick it up, right?
Yeah, you absolutely do. And you know what's really strange is most people realize that distracted driving is dangerous. In fact, according to a survey by the AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety, what we found is that 93% of those surveyed said that texting, emailing, talking on the phone is dangerous. However, a third of those people admitted to doing it at least once in the last 30 days. There's very much a do as I say, not as I do mentality when it comes to distracted driving.
What do you think is behind that? Do people just feel like they're doing it safely, they're looking up enough? But
they feel like I can do this, I can multitask. People say that they appreciate the convenience of being able to respond right away. They like to be able to multitask. They want to fight boredom in traffic. But unfortunately, just taking your eyes off the road for just 2 seconds doubles your chances of a crash.
Think of those. That's what we have to go to sleep tonight thinking. 2 seconds.
2 seconds. 2 seconds. And another quick stat, on average it takes about 5 seconds to read or send a text message. If you're going 55 miles per hour, in those 5 seconds, you are traveling the length of a football field. So you can only imagine what could come in the path of your car in that time.
All right, Doug, thanks for coming in from AAA.
Anytime.
Such
Thank you so
important
much for this
information to share with
important
us. All right.
Okay, now I want to go back to that story that happened at HISD when 3 Afghan students said that they were racially targeted and an incident happened. Here's what they had to say earlier today.
13.
13? So that's 13? 7th grade, 8th grade?
7.
7th grade. And your dad said you were just sitting down for lunch.
Yeah.
And what happened?
So me and her, my best friend, we came to cafeteria from the nurse, because first we went to the nurse because we didn't feel like go, because it's a girl things, and then we to try to call her mom to come pick us up, and then after that we came to cafeteria and then started to say hello to our friends, and then as soon as we wanted to sit down, they just started to attack us. And they beside us there were 2 tables, so we were in the middle. We couldn't even run away or anything. And they were just attack us. They didn't even ask anything. We didn't know them. They were Spanish girls, all of them. And they started to pull our hijab off because it was Ramadan. We all wear our hijabs. And then they started to pull our hijab out at first, and then they started to pull our hair. And they started to jump on us.
What were you most scared of?
Them all attacking us together, hitting on us and pulling our hijab. Yeah.
And you never had issues with these kids before?
No, never.
Any other kids you've had issues with, or
No.
nobody harassing you before or anything like that?
No.
Wow.
Do they say something to you guys when they were attacking you?
They were saying they were
They were just cursing at
Yeah,
us.
they were cursing,
Yeah.
yelling at us. That's what. Yeah.
Do they make a reference about your religion or something?
Yeah.
What do they say about that?
I mean, they started to pull our hijab off, as I said, and that's they have problem with our religions because we're Muslim. We wear hijabs and cover our face. Yeah.
Would you ever feel safe going back to Paul Revere?
No, never. Yeah. Even if the students are not there, we don't feel safe.
Were you conscious when this happened the whole time? When they were
Yeah.
attacking you guys? Were you aware of what was going on when you were
No.
laying there?
No.
Did you lose consciousness?
Yep. Yeah, I was crossing it.
They
And
treated
then,
us 3 times.
yeah.
Since we don't go to school, they just tell my friends to tell them to come back to school. We want to fight again. If
Yeah.
we catch you in hallways, from everywhere, we will beat them again.
Yeah, and
That's
then
all that they say. They treat us 3 times. That's
after
why we
we
don't feel
went
safe
to
anymore.
school, before after the accident happened, few 3 months after, I mean weeks, we went to school, me and her and the other girl, and we went to school and they were they told our friends, and then they told us like, give us warning. If we saw you anywhere, we're gonna do anything to you, and like not just hitting, but anything to you.
And you, how long have you been at this school?
For 2, this is our 2nd year, so from 6th grade. Yeah.
6th and 7th.
Yeah.
And nothing happened before?
No, nothing. And they have like their weapon was their pencil. The pencil
And
were
my
their
head was
weapons. They had
bleeding.
like pencils with them.
What should happen to them, you think?
They should, like, instead of us moving from that school, I mean, I'm shocked because they're the one that should get in trouble and move out from the school, but we're the one to move out of the school. Yeah, and then they should like get charges and stuff like that, like the consequences.
As far as you know, they're still at school?
Yes.
They get suspended or something? Or?
They're in jail for.
We don't know about that
few
because we didn't went to school
Right.
from there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, a
you
sad
guys just
situation that we are hearing about, that incident that happened in HISD school, at a middle school where those girls were attacked. You could hear them saying that those other students were pulling off their hijabs. Just a sad situation that we will continue to follow on Fox26Houston.com and Fox Local. We'll be right back. Back to Houston Live and Local. I'm Caroline Collins. It is Autism Awareness Month, and our morning anchor, Melissa Wilson, actually spoke with the Harris Center about the dangers of self-diagnosis and also the importance of a diagnosis in general, and also the struggles that come along with autism. Take a listen.
Autism Awareness Month, and more people are using TikTok, of all things, to self-diagnose themselves with the condition. Dr. Jana Rain with the Harris Center is here with me to talk more about that. Welcome, and thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I love it that we have all kinds of different tools to try to get information, but it doesn't seem like TikTok might be a good place to get that info. What is your thought as an expert who you do diagnose adults with this?
Well, for one thing, professionals use proven tools when making diagnoses, which helps ensure a more accurate diagnosis. Information online and through sources like TikTok can be misleading and can result in a misdiagnosis, which then impacts treatment.
If people are going to social media and looking at different posts like this, obviously they must be questioning themselves if something could be going on, because these are self-diagnoses, right? As an adult, are you seeing adults who have gone their whole life without being diagnosed?
It's not common, but it does happen. And it's just that we've learned so much about autism in the past 25 years, and we're refining the tools and the understanding of the symptoms.
When you do meet an adult who believes they were misdiagnosed and then you diagnose them, what does that look like? What type of symptoms do they have in their lives that they came to you to the first place and said, could you take a look, what's going on with me?
Well, one of the things I feel is really overlooked is the impact that sensory processing has on people with autism. We take in information from our senses, sight, hearing, touch. And for people with autism, processing all of the information you take in is most often overwhelming. And that is what causes them the most discomfort. And I think we overlook that. And so I think that may be one way that adults have gone for years without being diagnosed.
And speaking of overlook, why is it so important to not overlook those symptoms in ourselves and to try to get a diagnosis if that's what's going on? How can it make a difference in your life if you have a diagnosis?
One of the things I've experienced is that a diagnosis is so freeing. It answers so many questions for you.
Maybe take away blame or something, or guilt, or whatever it is that you're feeling. That's what, when I was reading social media, those were some of the emotions I was seeing that people felt. That's a terrible way to feel. We don't want people to feel like that.
Yes. And in the media, we have a tendency to make jokes about some of the symptoms, which causes people to avoid getting a diagnosis and treatment, and that's unfortunate.
As we take a look at that list there, how important is it to do something like just maybe get a journal and start writing down what you're experiencing and sort of see if there's, I don't know, a certain day of the week or stress or something. Would that help a medical professional?
Definitely. If you believe you're experiencing symptoms of autism or any mental health condition, keep a journal. I strongly encourage you to keep a journal. Jot down your feelings and experiences, particularly in different situations. Bring that with you to a professional, and don't be afraid to seek a diagnosis because it can be so freeing.
Where do you start? What type of expert would you suggest they go to?
Psychologist. A psychologist. Yeah, look for a psychologist.
All right. Dr. Rain, you're so helpful. Thank you for taking time to talk to us. Autism Awareness Month is such a great time to get these conversations flowing and really make a difference in people's lives.
Thank you.
All right, have a good one.
And hang him from a tree.
Go. Hey everyone, it's Caroline, Houston Live and Local Link here, live on our web stream. I am in our newsroom as our reporters and our weather team are hard at work. Oh, look, it's Greg Garukin.
Hey,
Greg,
Caroline.
what are you working on today?
Okay, what do the City of Houston and the Harris County Toll Road Authority have in common?
I don't know.
Okay, everybody knows the Toll Road Authority is a cash cow for county government. It makes about $900 million a year, sometimes $1 billion. About $300 million of that is profit, pure profit, that they distribute to the county commissioners to spend pretty much as they see fit on transportation needs. Enter the City of Houston, which is cash-strapped, as we all know, and they say, hey, 60% of the toll roads are in Houston. Every time there's an emergency, not every time, but many times there's an emergency on the toll roads, it's our cops, our firefighters who go and respond. And so there is a bill in Austin right now that would give the City of Houston its share of the toll road profits.
Oh.
We're talking about $100 million potentially a year, would fill a pretty big budget hole. Now, that means the county share would be much smaller. They're fighting it. We had Abby Kamen, council member, almost like a lobbyist for the county today, saying like, it's not fair for us to strain our relationship with the county. The mayor pushed back and said, look, we're providing all these services. It's for the greater good. Where do you think all those suburbanites travel to when they get on the toll roads?
Yeah.
The City of Houston to go to work.
Yeah, that's right. Wow, that's interesting.
So, and I can tell you this, the City of Houston has not, prior to John Whitmire, built a lot of friends in Austin. So the state has the authority to say, hey, look, the City of Houston should get their share. We'll see what happens.
right.
Big hearing today in Austin, but we've got the fireworks at City Hall.
Ooh, okay. Greg Grugan.
I don't know if that helped or not.
No, it helped. There's always something interesting with you. Looking forward to your full story. Now, it has just been so beautiful in Houston for the last couple of days. Today, I actually took a 5-mile walk outside to make sure I get my steps in. So I'm entering the Weather Center where meteorologist John Dawson is hard at work right now, tracking our beautiful blue skies and that sunshine. Hey, JD.
Rashi's been working on me. I'm supposed to get your chair
Yay!
ready for
Yes,
you
I love
when
this.
you come over, so
This
we
is
can
so
get all
great.
organized.
I love it. All right.
So,
is it at the right
Rashi
height?
trained me well, I think, to get that ready for you, ready
Perfect.
to talk.
Thank you. This is wonderful. Yeah, I didn't have a chair over at Greg's desk, so.
Well, you know, this is sort of a home away from
Yeah.
home. We kind of keep you comfortable.
I love
here,
it.
Keep you ready to chat.
What's going on?
Hey, it's beautiful outside. I
It is.
spent extra time outside as much as I could today.
I did too,
When I
finally.
was running errands around town, windows down,
Yes.
no AC on or anything like that.
That's so nice.
that was good. So
What a treat in Houston,
I know.
right?
What did you do outside extra?
I went and walked today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for
okay.
5
Oh,
miles.
I heard you on the way over. There was a
Yeah,
5-mile walk.
it was so nice because a lot of times I prioritize the gym and weightlifting,
Sure.
but today I was like, nope, I need a big, long walk, you know,
Yeah.
and I had the time, so I
Yeah.
skipped the weights and I soaked up the sun.
I find that too. A lot of times it's like if I have the time, you know, you ought to just go ahead and do it. It's
Yeah.
just to do a little extra
That's
mileage. I opened up a brand new pair of shoes today before I not these, but for my walk, for my walking shoes.
nice.
Yeah, you know, Willow and I, we went on our walk this morning.
That's awesome.
And
That's
I had
awesome.
a brand new pair
That's
of
your
shoes. So
dog?
yeah, well,
Yeah.
of course you don't know Willow.
I think I do.
Oh, well, you got to look on my
Just
Instagram,
yeah, we gotta
Willow
know Willow.
Wednesdays. I've been making a post
Willow
here,
Wednesdays.
making a little bit, yeah. But she and I had
bet she
we had a
loved
little
it.
extra time on the porch with our coffee, and
Yep.
and when I was like, no, I don't think I'm going to take the shortcut back to the house. We're going to make an extra loop around
Yes.
the block. So yeah,
it's
it
so
was
nice.
fantastic.
We don't
looking
have
stuff.
any windows in here, so now
I know.
now we're in the air conditioning and the cold, but we are looking outside to see.
Yeah,
What it's gonna be
and
like
I was
for the
just
rest of the day.
Well, I was going to touch on the negative here
Okay.
just a little bit. I was just updating our graphic with our allergy reports. You know, we check. The city of Houston does the official measuring of all of those. So I'm just checking in and looking, and it looks like we're actually had worse on the weed pollen now.
Oh,
We're gonna have to bump that one up. So I'm still working on these graphics.
Okay,
and
bad
we're
weed pollen.
we're gonna have to increase the weed. Well, I mean, the tree and the grass is already at heavy. So that's the negative, though. Positive wise, our temperatures. My little worksheet here. That's how I make the weather. You know, getting everything ready to go. We're gonna warm up, so we'll be in the lower 80s today, which I know right away you probably notice it's warmer in the afternoon. The AC was on in the car on the drive in this afternoon, and definitely even warmer when we get down the next couple of days, but rain free.
As long as this humidity can stay like it is, that'd be great. But, you know, you'll have to tune in to our later shows to see that. Thanks for watching Houston Live and Local. I'm Caroline Collins.
See you
Bye,
later.
friends.
All right, y'all, what is happening? Welcome back to another tasty episode of Foodies